everybody, and welcome to another episode of Awakening Within. We have the lovely Sally Bratton here with us, and she's going to tell us her amazing experience and what she does to help people. So with that, welcome, Sally.
Hello.
Right, my first question to you is going to be, where do you originally come from, and how did you end up in Spain?
Well, I originally was born in Stukely, a village in Buckinghamshire in England. And when I was 2 years old, my parents decided we were moving, me and my two sisters, to a town in Somerset. So we went there. And then when I was 18, I went to college and uni in and around London, because the town in Somerset was lovely, but it kind of a little restricting. I wanted to get out there and experience life a little bit. So after 6 years in further education, I liked it. I settled in West London, and I met my now wife in 2004, and she had lived in Spain previously. She was a rep for Thompson. She really, really liked Spain and persuaded me to give it a go.
Persuaded you? Okay.
Yes, once my son had started at uni, that was the time that we went. So in January 2018, we packed everything up, including the cat, and we drove across to here. We bought the property a couple of years before, visited quite a lot, and then thought, no, January 2018, my son's happy at uni, now's the time.
You don't look back. Do you feel settled here now?
Yes, it's taken a while, and I do go back to England quite frequently, obviously to see my son and my parents, one of my sisters, and to see friends as well, because of course you make friends here, but there's also your long-term friends that it's really important to see those people as well. You
still call it home, I'd say.
I do,
right.
yes. But it tends to feel like it's shifting somewhat. When I now fly into Spain, it feels different to how it did early days.
There's something about Spain.
Yes, it calls you back. Yeah, it welcomes you.
So could you briefly explain what you do, and perhaps start by explaining what is well-being, and what is a well-being life coach?
Yeah. So well-being is a state of feeling happy and healthy. Sometimes it's confused with wellness, which is more health focused. But well-being has that happiness element as well.
So well-being is more inner.
Yes, yeah. It incorporates physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual factors. So certainly from the inside out, but there's a whole range of things that are involved. But I think the addition of the word happy as well as healthy, it's a sense of well-being. Absolutely. And it's a phrase that's being used more and more. So,
and what is a well-being life coach?
So somebody like me, we help people to overcome their struggles, and whether that is from a physical, mental, emotional perspective. So really getting to the crux of the thing that's blocking them in life, and then helping them to improve their life, to transform it in some cases, by taking the steps necessary to overcome that struggle and head towards their life goal, really working out the moving forward goal, the purpose, and taking small steps to do it, achievable steps, not, oh my goodness, I've got to totally transform everything overnight. It has to be the small steps so it seems achievable.
Do you notice when someone, say, is talking to you, can you notice where they have blocks?
Yes, and it is kind of an exploration often, because somebody will come to me and say, it is this thing that's bothering me, and actually after discussion it can be something else that is the main crux of the problem. Wow. So yeah, it is. It's very much talking things through in depth and exploring, finding out what the real blocks are.
Wow, that's. I think a lot of people need to have someone that is a third party or someone that's not familiar with their story to hear what they are saying, and then you can pick up on the little red flags and then point it out to them. So
definitely, yeah. The independent standpoint, non-judgmental, safe space, confidential,
non-judgmental.
Yes, very important. Exactly. So yes, that's it in a nutshell.
Fantastic. Okay, so to explore how well-being has helped and healed you, what was your catalyst for change? Like what set you on your well-being journey, prompting life-changing decisions, including your new career?
So it was actually the pandemic. I knew I'd been a bit fed up with my job for a while, but I think once we were locked down here in Spain, it was quite severe, wasn't it? 6 weeks we couldn't go out.
Yeah.
That was a lot of thinking time. I assessed my life, I suppose, at that point. I couldn't get to see my now grown-up son in England, so that was another factor, and it was like, oh my goodness, you know, I want to change something here. And after that 6 weeks, when the lockdown restrictions were eased and we could go out and walk again, it was like, you know, I just kept walking and walking and walking and walking. Yeah, because suddenly I had my freedom back, and I'd missed that so much.
Wow.
And because I was quite lost, I didn't really know where I was heading. I started listening to a lot of podcasts by happiness experts, or, you know, Stephen Bartlett, Fern Cotton with Happy Place, Mo Gaudat, a whole host of inspiring people. And I kept hearing them talking about well-being, and I didn't really know what it was, but I thought, right, I want to find out more. And it totally resonated with me because I'd done the same job for 30 years. So I'd become very much stuck, very corporate. I was working with corporate clients around the world, and I was doing kind of the same thing. And, you know, I knew exactly what I was doing, but I'd lost the enjoyment. It was kind of soul destroying. And I needed something else to feel like, to learn and feel like I was living again, really.
Wow. See, I ask quite a few people, sort of, at what point in their life did they realise that there was something wrong with the world? And a huge majority say lockdown.
Yeah. A friend, when I told a friend I'd changed career, she referred to it as a pandemic transformation.
Oh, this is a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, well, that sums it up. And I know I'm not the only one. It's quite a large number of people, isn't it?
Pandemic transformation. Transition or transformation?
Transformation. Yeah. I suppose it could be either, really. But it's like, oh my goodness, I've got all this time to think. I'm
Really
not happy about that.
Everything into perspective.
Yes, yeah. Because we were forced to stop, weren't we? And ordinarily we just keep going and going and going.
Fantastic. So that's how you found out about the meaning and benefits of well-being was from these podcasts.
Yes, it was. And I think also, I suppose, because of COVID and how awful it was and how many people were suffering physically, I suddenly became really grateful for my physical body. I think I'd taken it for granted until that point.
Wow.
But, you know, it's something like, wow, we're allowed out between 6 and 10 a.m, I think it was initially. I used to make sure I saw the sunrise, and I'd walk just as much as I could in those 4 hours. And, like I say, I realised I was lucky to have a quite well-functioning body. And then the other aspects as well, mental and emotional. I've struggled with those over the years, really from teenage years. I had anxiety, possibly depression, quite low moods, so I think the fact well-being encompassed all of these factors. I thought, my goodness, this is my focus. This is how I can feel better and enjoy my life more.
Amazing.
Yeah, so it kind of spoke to me.
And do you think it would have happened if it wasn't for the pandemic?
Do you know, I hadn't thought of that question before, but probably not. I'd probably still be on the same hamster wheel.
So it's kind of a silver lining.
Definitely, yeah. Which, I'm lucky for that. I'm lucky for that, because obviously COVID has disrupted so many people and families, and it's been awful, and but sometimes good things can come out of bad situations, can't
As
they?
they have, yeah. I think things have to be shaken, rattled
Yes.
every now and again.
Yeah, otherwise we drift, don't we? Not everybody, but by nature I'm quite cautious.
Yeah.
So by nature I stick with the same things.
Where you're comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the income was good as well, which obviously financial, I believe, is other people say the same, is a core pillar of well-being. Because if you're financially unstable, it's not the be-all and end-all, but it can really disrupt your life.
Well, it's the number one cause of problems in families.
Yeah.
Number one.
Yeah. Mm.
Okay, so my next question will be, how did you heal? Once you found out about well-being, how did it help you?
I think it made, possibly by accident, but I started developing my own toolkit, I suppose, like the daily walks in nature. One of the podcasts must have taught me that meditation can really help anxiety and boost your mood in the morning. So I started doing that. So that was 2 elements of my toolkit. Yoga stretches are just, again, helped calm me, and the breathing, calming, just battling anxiety, really, all the things to reduce my anxiety. So that was something else. I've since done a few sound healing sessions, which I absolutely love and would recommend to everybody.
What, yourself? Or?
No, I haven't done it myself. I've gone to sessions by experts.
Singing bowls or gongs?
The bowls and tuning forks, and there's Joseph in Minerva. Anyway, so 3 times I've been to sound healing. Each time there's been an emotional blockage that has been released. One has been linked to a physical pain. When I was 8, I fell off a swing and hit my head, and during the sound healing I could feel that kind of being healed. Another one was to do with my son's father died when my son was 16, so obviously my priority was for my son, but during the sound healing it actually came to me going back into the room and telling my son about his dad dying. And he had cancer, so it wasn't totally out of the blue, but I hadn't been through that, so that was another emotional healing for me, really. So sound healing, but obviously I can't do it every day.
Well, I think it's more special if you don't do it every day.
Yeah, because then each time something big comes from it, and it links to the chakras as well, which I need to learn more about, but I'm beginning to learn that.
Wow.
And also sleep, probably like a lot of people during the pandemic, I had trouble sleeping because we weren't really physically wearing ourselves out.
So you have to be physical during the day to be able to have a good sleep. Okay.
Yeah, and because we weren't allowed out, I started using guided sleep meditations, Michael Seeley particularly, so that I still, every night now, I use one of those. It just sets me off to sleep.
Brilliant.
Not perfectly every time, but it's
and
a
do you
good tool.
recommend these to your clients?
Yes, I do. What I do with clients is I work with them and develop a personalised wellbeing toolkit, because of course we're all slightly different. Some people will have particularly sleep problems or physical or mobility difficulties. So I try and pull the things out that are relevant to them and that will help them day to day, and low cost or free of charge, ideally. Not all of them are, but walking in nature is free. Yoga stretch is free.
True.
I take my mat everywhere with me wherever I go. It's almost as important as my mobile phone, the yoga mat now, almost.
And it should be. In 2023, your yoga mat should go with you everywhere, just like your phone does.
That's it.
Remember that one. Yeah, top tip. Right, was there anything else?
Music. Music
yes.
for me is a massive healer.
What kind of music?
As in listening to different music to suit my mood, having a little dance in the morning, You know, obviously
Really?
to myself, because I don't want anyone else seeing that, but I'll put on a dance tune.
Dance like
That
no one's looking.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one.
Brilliant.
And singing in the car. I mean, I think that taps into your vagus nerve, doesn't it? Singing.
Yes.
So, yeah, again, when no one else is in the car, obviously. Feels good.
Fantastic. Wow, those are amazing tips. Awesome. Yeah, I don't sing in the car. So I don't put the radio on because it's just Spanish.
Yeah.
Like, no, haven't got time for that. So yeah,
like the USB.
I should do that. I should.
Favourite playlist.
I just don't even think about doing that.
See, that's special time. For me, I always think, and I'm now better at living in the present moment anyway. It took a while, but I'm there now. You know, just those 3 minutes. You don't know what's going to happen next in life, so that 3 minutes. Listen to your favourite track.
Awesome. And also free. Yeah.
I'm free, yes. Yeah. I'm very frugal.
That's good to know. Do you take any guidance from other wellbeing experts?
Yeah, I mean, again, through the podcasts and TED Talks, things like that.
Yes.
The big one for me has been Susan David. I don't know if you're familiar with her, but she's an emotional agility expert, and you know, she's got PhD qualifications. She's very high level, but she has taught me, I mean, through the TED Talks and her podcast, how I used to get really stuck on emotions.
Sad. And lots of us do.
Yeah, I'd be sad and I didn't know how to get out of that sadness. What Susan David is saying is, yeah, let those emotions come through you.
Feel them.
Feel them. And they're temporary. No feeling is final. So let it come through, and then probably 5 minutes later you're feeling different. And only one day, you know, I'm like that. I think a lot of people are like that.
I don't know anybody that's not. I don't think you're human if you don't do
No,
that.
that's true. That's true. And also she pointed out that all emotions are useful. We tend to think happiness and surprise are the only good ones. But anger, fear, disgust, and there's one other which it could be sadness. They're all equally important because they're teaching us something as we go along. It's information. Yeah.
And they're sort of they indicate they're sort of guiding us towards what we like and what we don't like, what we want to continue having in our life. Yeah, so it's a lot to do with manifestation. If you're giving too much attention to your negative emotions and thoughts, you're going to be calling more of that into your life. If you give more attention to the positive. Yeah.
That's so true. And that's another thing with Susan David. Yeah. Almost from her, I learned it is possible to have a positive mindset. And because I've previously been glass half empty, to learn that you can help switch on, not all the time, you can't be glass half full all the time, but it is possible to improve that mindset and generally have a more positive outlook, which I certainly have compared to 3 years ago, I'd say.
Yeah, you definitely do seem very chirpy and
loving life. In my 50s.
In her 50s. Yeah, so 50 is the new 30?
I hope so.
It is in 2023. Okay. So it sounds like you've been on quite a journey. So can you tell me what happened next? How did you become a well-being coach? Like, what was the point that sort of made you go, yeah, this is what I want the world to know about this?
Well, I think because I'd found a lot of help and healing through it, I thought it would be quite nice to help other people as well. But also a friend of mine who's actually an executive coach, and she's worked in HR for probably 30 years. She said to me, Sally, have you ever thought about being a coach? She thought I had the right character and personality for it. So the fact she'd said it as well, and you know, I really like talking to people. I like trying to help people, you know, as a lot of us do really, but I'm interested in people's stories. So everything kind of matched up, and I also knew I was fed up with my tech PR job, which really was not doing anything for me. So my friend I mentioned, Ali, the HR executive coach, she pointed out this training course, Raw Horizons. They're based in the UK, and they specialise in wellbeing life coaching. So I did an intensive course with them,
Wow.
qualified, and I've since also done a mental health first aid course because, you know, I've experienced mental health difficulties myself over the years. I know an increasing number of people who do, so I think that's a useful qualification to have under my belt. You know, that's more about recognising different mental health conditions people have and signposting them to an expert.
So first aid kit, meaning you're able to spot something that's quite severe and needs special tailored attention by an expert.
Right. It's a mental health first aid course which they, MHFA England are doing it, so a lot of organisations are introducing it now, because they want not just physical first aiders, they want mental health first aiders in the workplace to spot if somebody's struggling, if someone might be suicidal.
What, walking around the floor or just?
Yes, just, you know, spotting changes in behaviour, I suppose, where it's like, oh my goodness, I think that person is suffering from X, Y, Z, and then of course it's whether that person wants to talk and open up about it. But that's a useful thing to add into my wellbeing coaching because it just gives me a broader understanding of the mental wellbeing aspect.
That's very important because sitting down with someone, you could, right, I know what you want. I'm going to diagnose you with this and.
Yeah, and of course I can't diagnose, but I just have a greater awareness of what they might be going through, and then I'm able to suggest X, Y, Z. And again, it's down to that person as to whether they want to find out more or not. But it's a useful additional part of my offering, I think.
So you're kind of like the catalyst to their sort of finding the path for healing.
That's
Wow. That's awesome. Okay, so what would you say to people that are watching this interview today? How could you help them?
I think the first thing to do is for anyone to ask themselves, is there part of my life I wish was better? As we were saying, you know, lockdown kind of forced us to reassess life. But day to day, I think a lot of us are kind of putting up with something that's going on, whether it's anxiety or stress overload or you know, relying on alcohol to get through the day, something like that.
Crutches.
So, So just really, if somebody stops and thinks, is there part of my life I want to change? I can help them change. You know, we can talk about it in confidence, without judgment, and use the GROW coaching model to work out what their goal is, what the options are available to them to make changes in their life. Just really exploring, identifying and working out an action plan as to how they can boost their health and happiness. And everybody's unique, of course, and I think a lot of people just they need to be heard or seen. You know, you can be with your other half, and of course you know each other and you love each other, you care about each other, but sometimes it's useful, like we were saying before, to have that independent person where you can really just see them, let it all out, and then start exploring what's the main issue here and where do I really want to be going forward.
Would you say this could set somebody who's not aware of the spiritual side of life, this could set them onto that path?
Definitely, because that's something I've experienced as well. You know, I never previously thought about doing meditation. It's helped me so much, and yet I think certainly with the anxiety and stress aspect, people have a busy mind and busy life, and they just need to take the time for themselves, even if it's only 10 minutes a day initially. It's allowing themselves that time, isn't it?
That's enough.
I'm worthy. Well, it's a start. It's a start, isn't it? You know,
it's a build up.
Yes, I'm thinking of people who really have a busy, you know, a non-stop busy job, like a nurse, I suppose, or a doctor, where time is at a minimum. But obviously
these are the most stressed people.
Who are time poor. But ideally you would have a lot more time in the day for yourself than that. But the spiritual side, yeah, you know, I think that's so helpful to all of us, really. And it's whether you open yourself up to it too, isn't it?
Absolutely. You mentioned the GROW program. Could you tell me a bit more about this coaching model?
Sure. So it's an acronym. So G is for goal, and it's working out what goal you have moving forward, what goal you're aiming towards, or life vision. Some people don't know, so you can use visualization techniques with that. And I've done actually an audio visualization that someone can listen to.
Really?
And they, you know, it takes 10 minutes, and that will help them identify what their goal is.
Fantastic.
And then it would be, R is for reality, so working out where someone is right now in context with their goal. You know, what situation, again, it might be anxiety. I'm at this level, and the goal is to have obviously dramatically reduced anxiety. Then the options available, so what physical exercise or emotional agility activities you'd be doing, maybe perhaps journaling, the options available, the tools for you to use to help reduce your anxiety and manage it better. But I would work with the client at that point to work out all the options, and then the W is will. What will you do? These are the options. Which ones are you actually going to do? Because we can't do all of them. And some people would say, journaling's not for me. Or
because so they can choose.
Yes, which one resonates with them. Because then they're more likely to do it. And the thing with coaching is, as much as I'm helping people, I'm only guiding them, because it has to be down to them to do the work.
You can show them the door, but you can't push them through it.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah. So that's the GROW model in short. But it takes a lot of discussion and exploration, but it's a really good framework to come out with an action plan, and, you know, steps that aren't too massive, achievable steps, really.
Sounds good.
Excellent.
I like the acronym. I like it's an impactful word.
Yeah.
And it has so much deep meaning when you. Well done.
And growth, of course, is an important part of our well-being anyway, isn't it?
Exactly.
Personal growth. Yeah. I've started learning again the past 3 years, and it feels great. My brain's working up.
Love it. Love it. Grow. Yes. And how do you actually do your coaching sessions? Do you go to their house, or do they sit?
It depends on the individual. Some I do online. Some people prefer it in location-wise. It might be the only option.
It's the other side of the world. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I've got some people in the UK. A lady in Gibraltar who we had our first one face-to-face, but then the border got busy, so we did the second one online. Things like that. And another client that I actually meet outside, because that fits with the walking in nature and talking in nature, which is actually something I'm keen to pursue more, because that does both at the same time.
So you're like having a conversation while you're walking?
Yes, walking slowly, obviously, so we can have the conversation, or sitting, you know, by the sea, because that helps people feel more relaxed. And, yeah. So really, it's whatever the client wants, but I try and offer a range of options and see which we go for.
I love it. I'm gonna ask you. I ask everyone if they've ever watched a movie that's had absolute impact on them, where they've realised that what they're watching has got a serious message about how the world works, how our minds work, how reality is constructed. Have you got a specific movie that really caught your eye?
Do you know, my favourite movie is As Good As It Gets, with Jack Nicholson and Helen Hunt.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you've ever seen it, but
yes, I have.
For me, it has the whole package, because it's obviously humour. But most importantly, I think Jack Nicholson's character, I think he's got OCD, or he's got quite a severe mental health condition.
Well, he can't stand on the cracks.
Yes, and he takes his own cutlery in, his plastic cutlery. So when there's cutlery, so he pushes it out of the way and he puts his down. And of course, he really likes Helen Hunt, the waitress. He's trying to impress her, but he's so rude. And at times she just says, "Oh my goodness, can you just stop? You know, can you behave differently?" And then he goes away and he thinks, "Oh God, yeah, I have been pretty awful." And she has the, God, this is a spoiler, isn't it, for anyone who hasn't seen it? But
no, it's going to make you watch this and understand what they're trying to say.
Yeah, that Helen Hunt's, I think it's son or child, is ill and they can't afford the healthcare because it's in America. And Jack Nicholson then pays for the treatment. It's kind of beautiful, but it's not without. It's
sort
still
of like the law of attraction. Like she wouldn't have got that for her son if she wasn't open to conversing with him.
Yes,
it's
so
sort of like
true.
how the universe puts certain, let's say like a chessboard, certain pieces on the board, and you either choose to interact with someone and something beautiful comes from it, or you can ignore them and nothing happens.
Yes, so true, because a lot of people in that movie just ignore him or can't cope with him. And then, it's kind of a lovely relationship, isn't it? The way it evolves and everything they go through. And still at the end, it's not perfect, but life isn't perfect. So.
It's life.
It's life.
It's
it's
life.
a journey and it's enjoyable.
Exactly. And yes, brilliant. Watch that one with different eyes this time. Fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to put your contact details in the description, but would you like to tell the viewers how they could contact you?
So you can contact me on via Instagram at wellbeing_coach_Sally1, and on Facebook, facebook.com/wellbeingcoachsally, or also website wellbeingcoachsally.com.
Fantastic. And like I said, it will all be down below, and you can just click on it and contact us straight away. So thank you very much, Sally.
Thank you.
An absolute pleasure.
Oh, it's been lovely speaking with you. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.